All right, welcome everyone. We're back again. We've got backstage already. We have Confluence and Indian Jesus. We're going to have a great debate show tonight. I just want to get a couple of things out of the way. The way this is going to go is each of them are going to get an opening statement. We're going to have a back and forth. We're not going to do timed, as far as I know, and then we'll have closing. And then we may bring people up to depending on what kind of time we have. I have a long show tonight because we're going to do this debate. And then immediately after this, I'm going to go judge debates on the horseradish. I'm not going to shut down my stream when I do that. So we will have a lot of debating tonight. You can't get enough, and you're going to get it here. And so that's what's up. Now, throughout the night, we're going to probably have some guys who come in who are maybe being a little bit, I don't know what the word is, but they feel the need to pop off in chat about something and maybe call some names, maybe cast some aspersions, whatever. I don't really know. But here is something that you can do.
Everyone does it. Now you can do it too. Shut the fuck up. Shut your mouth. Shut up. Shut the hole in your face. Like that. You can do it. Shh. Shut up. And shut the fuck up.
That's right. Everyone does it, and you can do it too. So we got Confluence.
Shit. Oh, I'm on.
And we've got Indian Jesus. I should have warned you I was bringing you up. But, no,
Yeah.
why would I do that? That's not funny.
What if I was naked? What the fuck?
I can see you.
Oh, I get
in the back room. I mean, it's not like I don't know what you're talking about there. Anyway, so good times for all tonight. We're going to kind of get right into this. There may be people who, have missed out the last couple of weeks and don't know who you guys are. Why don't we just get into that really quick and then we'll start this. We'll start this party.
Okay. Can I start?
Ladies first.
Oh, fuck! You're fucking Kel-pilled right now. Okay.
That's awesome.
Okay, so I am Confluence 358. You should definitely subscribe to me. Holy shit! Look at my videos. They're entertaining. They're funny. They're great. You should also go to my channel and throw me some donos to at least pay for my bottle of wine. Okay, look, at least reimburse me of the cost of this Italian Merlot. Okay, that's all I'm asking. Follow me on YouTube and help me out. Okay, yeah, that's me. I'm center right, by the way. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Go ahead, Indian Jesus.
What is going on, guys? Thank you for having me. This, of course, is the Overlord Morty, and I am Lutch, aka the Indian Jesus, here to resurrect the second coming of Common Sense. I am live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, and just like now, sometimes whenever I feel like it. So come on over, the Indian Jesus Official, and you can find all my stuff on X and Rumble as well at Indian Jesus Off like official, at Indian Jesus Off. I'm the MAGA atheist.
All right. So one of the things, guys, out there in chat, as people come and go, as they will throughout this this debate, this set of arguments, take the time to go to these guys' channel, drop them a like, drop them a sub. Means a lot to everybody, and because I know we're gonna have people in and out all night. I know you're gonna go. What I know how it works. I understand, but make sure you drop these guys some subs and likes so they can continue doing what they're doing. Although I'm going to be honest with you, the wine, man, come on. You're not French. What are you doing?
It's Italian wine, okay?
Don't let him shame you. Don't let him
Wait.
shame you. You drink whatever you like, Confluence.
Yeah, thank you, Jesus.
If y'all knew what I was drinking, you'd be making fun of me too. But nobody's sponsoring me yet. So
is it Perrier? Because that's
I'm mixing that with something else.
One worse than that. All right. So anyway, so the topic of tonight is, as I understand it, is all humans should worship God. We're speaking of the generic Christian God as it applies to the many hundreds, perhaps thousands of Christian religions. Is that what we're talking about? Are we talking about the Hindu God? Are
No,
we?
wait. I don't.
Who
I
are
don't
we
want to.
dragging
I don't
in?
want to. I don't want to get prompt cucked again like last night. Okay, the prompt is just God. Okay, so
Oh,
like,
God.
yeah, they
Okay.
should worship God. I don't want to tie it down. I mean, I'm willing to go in that direction, but I'm not committing to tying it down.
Okay. All right. I'm
Just want to set that
okay.
before I
All
lose. After an hour of
Okay. All right. I'm just here to help, guys. I'm the moderator. Drop me a like and a sub as well. Why not? Everybody's doing it. You can do it too. And again, if you get all emotional and you feel like raging at these two gentlemen in the chat, just remember, shut the fuck up.
More engagement. Engagement's good.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, just come to my channel and
That's
rage
it.
against me.
Yeah,
that's
rage
what
against
I'm
them
saying.
specifically.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right. So you guys work this out. So who is the affirmative? Who's going first? Okay.
This guy.
And did you guys decide on how long your opening and closing statements will be?
Yeah, we said 3 minutes is
Yeah,
fine.
3 minutes opening. I didn't
3
make a
minutes opening.
closing. I'm just gonna do it off the fly.
Yeah, me
but-
neither.
Yeah, all right. Well, we'll give you some time. All right. And so now the next question is, no, it's not even a question. So just so you guys know, the way that I moderate debates like this is I'm not going to say a fucking word unless you start over talking each other or otherwise start misbehaving. I expect you two guys to act as reasonable adults. Not necessarily, excellent adults, but reasonable. And, a little over talking's okay. Ad hom, hyperbole, all of that, bombasticness, that's all good. But the only time I'm going to step in is if you start really over talking each other, and we'll just have to calm down and reset. Okay.
How long do we have grid, by the way? Just so I know.
Well, so in general, the way that these tend to work is we actually normally the openings are a little longer because you have to explain your worldviews and all. You have to lay foundations and that sort of thing. But you guys said 3 minutes.
Yeah. I think it's not a super complicated.
It's not a complicated
prompt.
formula.
So I think a lot of what we're going to get into is going to be in the actual debate part.
We want to dive into it, but I mean, well, like, what's your heart out? Like, how long is the debate? Like,
We can go up to 3 hours. I don't expect us to. I expect about your openings about an hour of back and forth.
Yeah.
It sounds about right for this topic. It could go longer if you guys get stuck on a point, get bogged down, and then we'll do your closings, and then we'll see. We might bring some people up to bring in callers. We'll talk about that later. When we do, if we are going to take callers, what I'll do is I'll put it in the chat, and you'll need to DM me on Discord or talk to moderators to be able to do the call-ins, kind of like you do over at Andrews, but a little different. Anyway, so since Confluence, you are leading off, I'll set my time.
Whose DNA that was.
let me have a quick swig, okay, to get fired.
You're okay, man. You're okay. You got
Right.
time. I'm in no hurry. It seems like I'm in a big hurry, but it's just
Wait
this is
a
such
minute, Confluence.
simple
I was
thing.
saying, go drink what you want, but you have a bottle of wine without a cork. I mean, what? Spend
Bro.
the extra $3.
Spend
No.
the extra $3.
No, it's
oh man.
more than that.
Now
You
we're
don't-
wine shaming.
Yeah, you
We're
don't know
wine
you don't know the tax, okay, where I live. You don't understand that.
Oh, he's in Canadian land. I'm not even sure. I'm sure
Exactly.
they like import wine from like New Jersey or
The
something.
amount of money that alcohol costs, same with cigarettes, is fucking unreal. I'm just gonna say that.
Yeah.
So
All
don't
right.
don't cork shame me. Jim, okay?
Fair enough.
All right. Well, you just let me know when you're ready to start your opening statement, and we'll roll right into it.
Okay, well, I'm fucking ready. So start
Do it.
the timer. Okay. So my argument will be threefold: from a personal point of view, from a societal point of view, and from a theological point of view. I will now delineate it thusly. Point the first: from a personal point of view, we as humans are better off worshiping what we see as the highest note. I'm fine going down a Christian path, but I'm also applying this to any form of divinity, whether it's your highest self, an amorphous deistic creator, a primal mover, the highest good, pantheism. Pick your divine poison and fucking drink it, because ultimately when humans aspire towards the highest, when they give attention to the highest, when they revere the highest, celebrate the highest, give deference to the highest, in a word, worship the highest, as the prompt says. They themselves are doing what is ultimately the best for themselves. When people are insular and give into morbid, acute introspection, their inner eye gazes inward, and that inner eye becomes clouded, cataracted, if you will, and you must, and they suffer personally as a consequence because, by definition, they're no longer worshiping the highest good, but they're now worshiping themselves. Point the second. From a social point of view, when people worship God, however that culture defines it, we see cohesion, we see a shared moral framework, we see a coming together. It almost doesn't even matter how God is precisely defined, whether it's a sky daddy, as the degenerate neo-atheists falsely frame it, or whether it's the omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent, omnibenevolent, omni-based, omni-goated, omni-red-pilled God that Christians believe in, or whether it's even polytheism like it often is in Jesus's country of origin. Just kidding. I'm not sure where Jesus was born, but I do know that he's Indian. And so whether it's Brahma, Shiva, Vishnu, or Krishna, which I think is an incarnation of Vishnu, even these quasi-questionable pantheons bring people together, harmonize them, and allow them to build a coherent and cohesive society that has shared and moral and cultural values. Point the third. From a theological perspective, God is in almost every single religio-spiritual tradition I can think of, the one who created us, the one who granted us the breath of life, the one who has brought us all into existence and brought existence itself into existence, and we therefore ought to worship him. That part is an ought claim, yes. As the Apostle Paul says in the book of Romans, but who are you, O man, to answer back to God? Will what is molded say to its molder, why have you made me like this? Has the potter no right over the clay to make out the same lump, one vessel for honorable use and another for dishonorable use? God has made us. God is the reason we're sitting here tonight talking, discussing, having fun. Now, I will, of course, be happy to address theodicy in this discussion. That is the very present and real and tangible so-called problem of evil. But again, we are the creation. God is the creator, and we should be thankful for being given the gift of being brought into existence, however painful, however strife-driven. So in so much that Lutch will touch very much on such points and not clutch onto crutch fallacies and word games, I look forward to a great debate.
Beautiful.
They had 8 seconds left.
Damn.
Oh, that was good. That was well timed. Okay.
That was
Indeed.
exceedingly well done, sir.
I'm probably either going to be way too short or I'm going to be cooking and then the time's going to
It'll
go
be
out.
fun.
We will see.
All right. Just start talking, man.
So in order to say that all humans should worship God, that means that, of course, we have to have the correct God, because if we are saying we should worship this God versus that God, but I'm willing to put that to the side, at least temporarily, to discuss even within the framework of the Christian God, we don't need to worship him, it, whatever you want to call it, either. Luckily in this format, I think we're going to be able to dive into these topics a little bit more instead of the mini blood sport. So I'm looking forward to that. Don't worry, still bringing the passion. But the reason this matters is because belief is not a choice. You are not able to choose to believe in something that you do not believe in. You are either convinced of it or you are not convinced of it. And if I am not convinced of something, then how can I worship it? I don't know what it is that I'm worshiping. So I think it is a logical impossibility. I don't know. It's logically not applicable ought claim saying that we should worship God if we don't know what God we're talking about. And if we're not saying worship a God, which is different than worship God, then we do have to narrow it down and pick a particular one. But again, we can go into the Christian God, and I'm fine with that as well. And then finally, I think my debate partner here has to say why it would be morally wrong to not worship God. To say that you should worship means that it is, as he said, an ought claim, and that means if you don't do it, that it is wrong. And I don't see how you can make the argument that worshiping something that you either don't know or don't understand could be wrong. I think that's about it.
You had a minute left.
I told you.
All right. Well,
Let's do it.
you guys can start out. Again, I'm only going to involve myself. I will also, if you get like stuck and you start being too circular, I'll try and redirect you. But other than that, you guys just have at it.
Okay, if I can ask Jesus, the thing about belief, I think the Greek word, I think is pistis, or it's been a long time since I've read the Greek. Okay, but like the word belief isn't just like wanting, knowing, or believing that something is true in a way that we normally conceive of it. Like I think if we're talking about worshiping the highest form of something, it doesn't matter if you fully are convinced of it or not. Someone could be like 60% convinced of something and still choose to worship in like in an agentic kind of way,
Sure,
where
but
you're
that's
making
not.
a choice.
I'm not saying you can't worship if you don't know. I'm saying you can't say that we should worship that which you don't know. So that's fine if you believe in XYZ type of God and you worship that God. I'm not saying that's wrong. I'm not here to say that it is wrong to worship. I am definitely not saying that. I'm it is good to have some type of higher power or higher thing to look up to, but I don't think we can say that it is a moral ought that you have to worship God. Even if we were going to say a God, we could, that would be a little bit easier, but to say you must worship God, I don't see how you can make that claim.
Well, I guess I'm making the claim that like whatever, like you're saying the highest thing that you know, I guess, right? Like your higher self, that's what I define my opening. Like whatever is the highest moral thing to you that is objectively good, and that would be something that you ought to worship, again, for personal reasons, for societal reasons, and for theological reasons. You ought to worship that, even if you're not convinced in the existence of something like a sky daddy, again, to use like the kind of like new atheist terms, right? Like if whatever you conceive as the highest part, I don't want to get too like Jordan Peterson on your ass, but like whatever you conceive as the highest good, you would at least agree that you should worship that. Whatever you think that is, even if you don't call it a God, even if you don't call it a creator, whatever you think is the highest, you should worship that. And anything else is definitionally almost degenerate, because it degenerates from the higher point of you and God into a lower section of yourself.
Okay, can we go? I know we came on the specific definition before we started. I don't know if you have it right there. Can you just give me the definition of worship that we were using?
I'd have to pull it up. I think I'm just going off memory because like I'll have to scroll up through our chats. But it was to revere, to celebrate, admonish. No, not admonish. That's the opposite.
But the reason I ask is because again, I don't. I think there is a to say celebrating this is strong. It has to go beyond just the celebration. I think the celebration is part of it, but to revere and all of those things have to be included as well, right?
Right, but you don't think we should revere like whatever God is defined as? Again, in any spiritual tradition that I personally know of, God is conceptualized as someone who has brought all of existence into existence. You don't think that deserves reverence, and you don't think it's better for us to revere it, and you don't think we ought to revere it, the thing that brought us into being? The reason we're having this talk right now, I guess that's the kind of ironic thing, right? Like we are able to sit here right now because you said you think that like God probably exists. So the reason that I'm able to like talk right now, whether it's retarded or not, the reason I'm able to do it is because of God. I mean, that's a miraculous thing, right? Would you not agree? If
that's the case, then yes, it's miraculous. Creator. But that brings us back to whether that is or is not the case. So I'll let you pick which direction you want to go because we got time. So we can either go assuming that the God of the Bible exists. Do we want to go down that road and say let's assume that Christianity is true? And then still why we don't need to worship that God? Or do you want to go down the road of I can't worship what I don't know?
I'd rather go down a general path because, again, I think all religions at least are in harmony. And there's been many books written in like the 19th century, early 20th century. No, they are though. There's like on the specifics, they disagree radically. But on the generalities, we could go down this path briefly if you want to. But I think on the generalities, I think religion does come to a cohesion of its kind of mythos in what it builds toward, right? It's always building up. It's always building higher. So yes, you can look at like Islam, and of course it has different like prescriptions than Christianity does. Obviously, you look at the specifics, you get to different stuff. But if you look on like the more like the baseline level, it's always like aspiring upward in theory, right? And I guess that's what I'm projecting toward. And it's always good to worship what you think is the highest. And you could be wrong. Like you could be some to go back. You could be like some like Mayan person, like cutting someone's head off.
Well, that's where I think
that's the highest.
That's
where
the
highest is the best.
That's where the ought claim of it, I have an issue, because if you're saying everyone should worship God, but their God is saying to kill all children, then they definitely shouldn't worship that God. They shouldn't even listen to that God.
Right, but that's kind of using God in a more particular sense, right? Like again, I mean, I don't know if I would drag this into the weeds too much on what the definition of God is.
Well, that's what I'm saying, because it's either that, or we can stick within Christianity. Because
I actually don't, even though I'm a Christian, I don't think it's helpful to stick within Christianity, because I do think we see a harmony among human culture that is at least aiming upwards. And I would say even the people that are doing bad things in the name of God, I think what are we as humans to do besides aim to the highest that we in our cognition can grasp? And so that could end up in negative outcomes from like a utilitarian point of view, and it could even be morally bad, sure,
right?
But it's still best to aim high.
Well, hold on.
Up.
It can't be something that's potentially morally bad and also something we should do, right?
No, I would disagree. I would disagree. So that actually could be a fun thing. I actually disagree on that, because I guess, hear me out and then tell me if I'm cucked. But I think like all we have is like we have our mind, we have our subconscious, like we have like the different degrees of like who we are as a person, right? We have our spiritual faculties, our rational faculties, our emotional faculties, and like the best we can do is within our human body. And so, yes, it's like, so morally, if you were to give a random human a prescription, if you were to say, this is what you should do, it would be follow what you think is the highest. Now, that could end up being something that is negative. It could end up hurting people.
So then why should people do it, though? If it's something that could end up hurting people, why should people do it?
Because it's the highest thing that we know how. I mean, what's the?
But then it's not. But then, if that's the case,
what's the alternative? I guess is what I would say.
A different thing to worship. Because if the highest thing that you worship leads you to bad outcomes, then you worship the wrong thing. And I think we've seen a lot. There's definitely plenty of good that comes from the church, but we can't say that there hasn't been extreme violence in the name of God because of the worship. But that's the limitations of humans, I would say. And I guess I would want to press you on what is your alternative, because I would tell people follow what you think is the highest, and that could end up in a maladaptive thing. But what's the alternative? You want to say follow what you think is the lowest, follow hedonism, follow your base desire. Then what would you prescribe to like some random tribe? So in the same way that Christianity wasn't just dropped on us in a fully formed set, it evolved over time and became what it was. I'm not sitting here saying I've got a better answer than Christianity. I'm here presenting the notion that in the same way before Christianity, everybody was religious and believed in God and did this, that, and that. But then, according to believers, Jesus came and made things better. I'm proposing that it is not impossible that happens again. And so for right now, if we are not able to leave that door open, then it is potentially closing the door on what would present the greatest good.
I feel like you're going back to like last night. Like in this debate, I am not disagreeing with that. Again, I'm talking about the highest. If a new highest was to form, worship the highest. Whatever you think is the highest, that is what I'm defining as God. What you think is the creator, what you, in your best out of all, if you're radically honest with yourself, if you think this is who made you, so worship that. And that's what you ought to do. And that's what's best, again, societally and personally. I want to bring it back to like my opening. That does best for you personally. I don't think you can disagree with that. Societally, I think just practically what we've seen,
right? But I feel like
there's best. I feel like theologically, it's an odd claim.
I feel like there's a huge gap in the. It's kind of a cop out to say, oh, just whatever's the best. That's what you should like. Yeah, but if you can't define that, then I don't know what you're talking about. So I can't agree or disagree with you. Well, in the same way, if I were to say we should all worship blue blah. Would you agree or disagree with that?
No,
that's not. Disagree with that?
No, that's absurd. That's absurd because
why is it absurd?
Because blue blah is by definitionally undefinable, right? You're picking a nonsense word. Whereas
know that.
I am, well, I do know that whereas I'm saying pick the highest, which is a changing goal, but just because a goal changes, it doesn't mean it's not a goal. If you're trying to do the best, if you're running a marathon, you're trying to get the best time. That time can change, but it doesn't matter. You don't have to specify the exact milliseconds that you want to run the marathon.
So
you're
that
trying
time
to run
could be
the marathon in the best time.
So in the way that you're framing this, then your best running time could be God.
Well, it's a metaphor. What I'm saying is that I'm saying aspire to the best and worship that to the best of the human capability. And I'm using the metaphor as a marathon to say, well, I can't say like a 3-minute mile is maybe the peak of like human ability in some like far-fetched world.
I'm totally on board with that. But you're still missing the actual thing. What is it that we should be worshiping? You're saying we should worship this thing. But if it's different for everybody, then it's not this thing.
I feel like you're treating God. I feel like you're going. I feel like this may be like straw manning you. I'm not trying to do that, but that feels like you're kind of going into like the Skyman thing, because what I mean by God is like the creator, and there's a difference between empirically knowing what the creator is and on an epistemological level being able to discern that and what the creator is. So I think we all grasp toward what is God, but there is something, and you said this yourself, you think it's likely there is a God. So that's what I'm talking about. Our human knowledge is incomplete. I agree with that fully, right? But that doesn't really matter. I think we should be trying always to worship that God. Again, I want to bring it back to my opening. For personal reasons, societal reasons, theological reasons, we should always be trying to aim for what that creator is to the best of our ability. And yes, you can point to where it goes maladaptively, but again, that's a deficiency in humanity. But I don't think you can blame God for that. And God is still owed that reverence by creating us.
Well, I mean, that's a huge claim there. I don't think that God created us. I don't.
Well, challenge it.
Well, but that's what I'm saying. If you want to go down that road, how do we know God exists? I can't worship something that I don't know exists. And so if we are saying that the highest good, that is a different thing than talking about Christianity and religion. So you're talking out of both sides of your mouth.
I'm not talking about. I'm going with what you said.
Theology, though. Yeah, so are we talking about theology, or are we talking about just whatever you feel is the best?
I feel like there's some.
Or is that your theology?
No. I feel like there's some semantic overload here. When I say theology, I just mean the study of God. I'm not tying it into Christianity. I'm tying it into just general like theological considerations.
But if you're not tying it to Christianity and you're just saying it's whatever, then the meaning of the word is irrelevant.
No, how is it irrelevant?
You may as well say we should all dislike bad things. Like, yeah, okay. But
yeah, I would agree. We should dislike. I mean, that's almost tautological. We should dislike that,
and that's what I'm saying about your claim. You're
saying my claim is tautological. You're agreeing with it. Then, if something's a tautology, then you're agreeing with what I'm saying, right?
No, I'm fallacy. Sorry, I thought you said fallacy. My bad. No, but I'm saying you're building in you're begging the question in the word.
How?
Because you're saying what we should worship is that what we should worship. That's your argument. We should worship the highest good, and the highest good is whatever the highest good is.
Well, okay.
What is the highest good then? Because maybe you are saying, okay, the highest good is X, and I would disagree that we should worship X. But maybe you're saying the highest good is Y, and maybe I would agree that we should worship. So bringing it back to the prompt, if you are saying all humans should worship God, not only are you saying that everybody has to worship this thing, you are also then saying it is morally bad if we don't do it.
Yes, I mean, I think I laid that out, and I don't think I've heard any disagreements from you, either socially or personally, on why. Because I
still don't know what you're talking about, man. Like again, if we're,
okay, so let me ground this. Again. Like, if we're talking about God, like I'm saying there's two separations here. There's like our biological nature, again, our rational faculties, emotions, subconscious, everything, right? There's what we can aspire to from an epistemological level, what we can know about God. That's one side of the coin. The second side of the coin is that there is a God that created us, which you said you don't disagree with. You said there probably is a God. So if there's probably a God, he created us, he created all of existence. He is existence himself. So I guess those two things are separate because our knowability into that, not to get all postmodern on you, but like our knowability of what that God is, yeah, there's a kind of an uncrossable gulf between those two things. And, you know, that's why Christianity talks about Jesus coming, but not to get into that. But you get what I mean, right? There's what we can do as best as humans without divine intervention. And then there's like the God who created us, who's like all loving and omnipotent and all of that. And I guess like what part do you take issue with on what I'm saying? Because I want to differentiate those two things, because the knowability of something is different than the thing itself.
Because I feel the issue I'm having is I feel like we came into this having a more specific religious debate, and then when I tried to drill down on that, well, I'm just talking about the highest good, and then when I'm trying to drill down on that, then you're like, well, whatever you want. And
no,
so,
I feel like I was pretty clear in my opening.
We can end this here. We can end this here. And if you're just going to define God as whatever you think is the best thing, then sure. But I think if you want to take that position, then that extremely waters down the word
Jesus.
God.
No, I don't want to have to like re-say what I just said. But I feel like you don't understand it. With all due respect, I'm saying there's a difference between, you understand like epistemology, right? Like what we can know and how we know it. You could imagine a tribe that, let's say they're doing their best, they're aiming towards the highest, but let's say they don't have the truth. So from their perspective, they're aiming toward the highest good. But on the other side of the coin, you have a God who is a creator, who's omnibenevolent, potent, omni-red-pilled, omni-based, what I said in my opening, right? And it's like, and those two things are different, and there is an epistemological gulf between those. And I feel like I'm not sure if you get what I mean by that. Because,
maybe not. So maybe I don't. And so you just made two distinctions.
Yes.
If you are saying we should worship one of those, which one is it? Maybe that's the confusion. I don't know what you mean.
It's kind of like saying it's almost like what you said about like how like doing bad things is bad. It's almost like that. Like you might not know. You could imagine some early tribe who doesn't know what between good and bad, right? Like, but they should still, you would still say they should try to do what's good. Everybody would say that, right? They should at least try. I mean, that's the best we can. If we can't like jump into their society and like tell them what's the good thing to do, the best advice is like do what you think is the highest. But then on the other side of the coin, there's what actually is objectively morally good, morally right.
Right. Well,
would you agree in that distinction?
Yes, but that's why I'm confused, because you said before, even if it is the wrong idea and even if it leads to pain and harm, that we still should still do that. You know, like if we're talking about some madman who is telling him to go out in the streets and spray, why should that guy? You're telling that guy he should worship the being, entity, whatever that is telling him to do that.
It's a general.
Wait, do you agree with the assessment?
I hear what you're saying, but I think I understand the disconnect. I think that what I'm saying is general advice given to everybody, a general prescription that you should worship the highest. There are going to be, of course, examples that you can find where someone is schizophrenic and they think the highest is not the highest. But I would ask you again, I asked you this before, you didn't answer, what's the alternative? If you don't want to tell people to worship the highest, to worship God, what is the alternative? What do you want to appeal to prevent that madman from doing some like heinous like mass casualty event? What would you appeal to? I'm appealing to God, and that works in 99.9% of cases.
So, but again, you're going back, you're
and
talking out of both sides of your mouth again. I can answer I started to, but I got off it. And so I was saying about how Christianity didn't just come to us fully formed, and that I'm not sitting here claiming to have all the answers. Again, I'm just claiming that if we as humanity are looking to take this undertaking of determining the truth about the universe, the best moral structure, all of the above, then I don't think that that a God, or I don't think anything that we need to call a God is necessary for that. So again, we can come back to, if you're just saying that which is the most good, like, okay, fine, then you win, but that doesn't really mean anything.
No, Jesus, I again, with all due respect, I want you to answer my question. You said that me positing.
I don't know what the alternative is. Not yet. I would need it myself, as well as many other people over years and years, to sit down and to discuss these things, so that just like how the Bible was formed, that we how I don't know, but apologetics, not apologetic, but just the study of theology in general. It's an ongoing thing, and it's continually. I'm honest. It's continually increasing. So I'm not saying I have a better thing right now. All I'm saying is that we don't need to worship this unless we know for a fact that it is in fact the highest good.
Wait, then why would we ought not do it if you're saying you can't even come up with an alternative? So it's the best personally, to go back to my opening, it's the best societally, it's the best theologically, and you have no alternative on why we shouldn't.
Because
like,
it's not
what am I
mutually
missing here?
Because it's not mutually exclusive. You don't have to either be a Christian or have no morality at all.
I'm not saying that. I've expressly said I'm not talking about Christianity.
You said you're confused.
I'm
I'm
not
explaining to
talking
you.
about Christianity.
Okay, you're confused. I'm explaining to you. And so
you're confused because you keep bringing up Christianity. I'm not talking about. I've said this multiple times.
You just asked me a question, dude. I was answering the question that you asked me.
You're bringing up a specific religion that I am not. So I just want to make sure we're on the same page. Not talking about Christianity specifically.
Okay.
Be clear.
Okay.
Okay.
So now I don't remember what your question was.
My question was, what is the alternative? You're not giving any alternative to the three things I mentioned in my beginning. And so it seems like if it's better personally, societally, and theologically, and you have no alternative, then it's like, then should not we worship God if it's better in all three of those domains? And you can't think of an alternative that's better to tell somebody?
If that's what I'm saying, dude. If that's what you mean by God, then okay, that's just a much weaker word than I thought it was. I thought God was, omnipowerful, omnigoated, I know you said that. So that
I feel like I don't want. This is the third time I've repeated this again, and correct me if you don't understand something here. Like I'm not trying to be condescending, but like there's a gap between what humans know, right, and what the truth is. So God is omnipotent and omnibenevolent. I will commit to that. You can hold me to that. But I'm saying that humans, the knowability of that is not perfect. So there could be people that don't know it. There could be that schizophrenic person. There could be someone from some tribal land that they don't know the correct orthodoxy, and therefore they don't know the correct orthopraxy, and so therefore they can't affect it correctly. But the best advice is still to head towards the highest good and worship God. That's what everybody should do. And again, I hear no alternative at all. And you kind of said there's no alternative.
Yeah, not yet, because everybody's stuck on God instead of figuring out the empirical reasons that we could actually develop what the best good actually is. And again, I'm not saying today we stop Christianity and we put that to the side, and then tomorrow we think, what is good and what is bad? That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying we need to, in the same way we move from Judaism to Christianity, then we need to move to Christianity to whatever's next. I'm here in the present. I don't know.
I agree, but if we move from Christianity onward, we would then be worshiping God.
Then you win. God just means the thing. God just means the good thing. Okay, fine. I thought God was omnipresent, omnipowerful, all of that stuff. You can't have both, dude.
I'm not trying
to have your cake and eat it too.
I'm not trying.
Either
I feel like you're not
a God.
I don't want to.
Or you're talking about the greatest good.
Do you understand at least what I'm saying about man's ability to know something and the objective truth? You understand there's a gulf there.
Yes.
You get that.
Yes.
So I'm not speaking out of both sides of my mouth. I'm saying those two things agree in tension. You can have some tribe that has incomplete knowledge, and then you have the omnipotent, omnibenevolent, omni-based, omni-red-pilled God that I mentioned in my opening. Those two things are not in contradiction. Knowing something and a thing existing are not in contradiction. You can have unknowability, and that thing can still exist. There's a lot of stuff about science that we don't know. Those scientific principles still exist. Quantum physics existed in 2000 BC, even if we didn't know about it. And I feel like if I said that, you'd be saying I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth. No, it's just that
let's use that example.
Degrees.
Let's just we can even zoom out and we'll talk about medical germ theory. Before germ theory, they were thinking the right thing to do is to go from one patient, dirty hands, to the next patient, and that was their highest good, the best way to do medicine. Yes. And so if they were saying we should worship the ritual of taking my bloody hands and going to the next patient, then how do we ever get to the place where we say, actually, maybe you should wash your hands in between, because then that's blasphemy. But how dare you? No, of course not. You must worship God. The highest good is going from one person to the next. Otherwise, why would we be doing it? That's
I feel
what
like
that's
you
what I'm
just-
saying.
I
Do
feel like
you
you
at least
just
understand where I'm coming from and my confusion and what you were saying with that?
Kind of, but I feel
Okay.
like there's like a conflation going on that like first of all, with worship, obviously you're not worshiping something just because you're following, something like with your germ theory example. That's not, you're just doing
Sure.
it. But yes,
But I'm talking about the
yes,
progress.
with germ, I would say the best practice. I mean, maybe this is getting into the weeds a bit. I don't know, but yes,
We got
back in the day in medicine, a doctor should do to the highest ability of their rationality and the medical knowledge of the time. They should do that. It might be wrong, but they ought to do that because, again, from like an epistemological point of view,
Okay.
that's the best they know. And so, as we know more about God, as we learn more about
I
God,
feel like
we should be
we're going in
worshiping
circles.
that.
I feel like we're going in circles because I understand what you're saying, that the doctor should do whatever is the best thing that he knows to do.
Exactly,
And
and we
then
should
hold
worship
on.
whatever we
Right.
think is the best that we
Okay.
know, which
But
is
then
God.
if you are saying that some people might, I understand that you're saying only some people might get it wrong, but then we have to determine or at least justify why those people also. The claim is all humans should worship God. If
Yeah.
their God is telling them to kill people, or we don't even need to say a God and telling them. Let's say their highest good is dead children. In their mind, the highest good that could be is taking the life from children. That person should worship that?
I mean, if that's
Should that person worship their highest good?
as a general prescription, absolutely yes.
Damn.
Because
Well,
there's no alternative to it. There's no
well, let's
and
make
haven't
one.
been able
So let's
to
make one to say,
provide me one.
you know what? Life is important. Beings have feelings and don't want to die and the desire to live. So let's make that. Well, whatever we following, and it doesn't matter what you think about killing children. We, as want to say Americans, humans, whatever, determine that no, the highest good, despite what you think, is not.
So wait,
fact,
so
what you
your theory is that this hypothetical schizophrenic person, they're going to listen to rational discourse about the value of a human being.
No.
Then
no.
what's the prescription to
You are saying that person should worship their highest good, and I am saying at least that one person should not. And the claim is that all humans should worship God. So if you are defining God as whatever you believe is the highest good, and Bob decides that the highest good is dead children, then he should not worship God.
But we're back.
And you think he should? You
and
just said this man should go kill babies because God. This is the
didn't-
problem with dogma.
That's
The
not
only way to
okay,
get people to
I didn't
do.
Say, I didn't say
I
that.
asked you directly, and you
clear.
said yes.
I didn't
So,
say
okay,
he
let's
should
go back.
go
Should
and
that
do it.
man worship his highest good? His
He
highest
should
good.
worship his highest good. Yes.
Okay,
That's
so what does that
that's
actually
the
mean?
best. Again,
What does that actually mean? What does that mean for that man's
that's
thought
the
process?
best anyone. If the fact that you can't provide an alternative, and your alternative is like, oh, I'm gonna talk to this schizophrenic with rationality about human dignity, as if that's gonna work. That's so unbelievably just like r-slurred. It's like that's ridiculous. Like again, like that.
So
You
again,
have to
why-
you at least agree that the general prescription for humanity is that everyone should worship what they think is the highest.
Yep, but the word all, just like the word men in the last time you got cook prompt, to use your words, matters. If you were to say, in general, people should worship the highest good, I'd be like, yup, sounds good. But that's not what you said.
Yes.
You
all-
said all humans, including the guy who,
I'm
worshiping his highest good, is going to murder
fine.
babies. And you said yes,
No.
that should still be the
You know
case.
what? You know what, Andy Jesus? If you want to cuck prompt me, I'm going to cuck prompt you back, okay? It doesn't say you should worship what is your version of God. It says you should worship God. So therefore,
then what is God?
I'll punt into theology and say, well, the schizophrenic isn't actually worshiping God. So how do you deal with that? You should worship God.
Okay, so
the
then what is
creator,
God? So then what is God?
The creator.
How do you know?
Created us?
Okay, how do you know that?
Well, so you want to go into epistemology?
Yeah, how do you know that we were created?
Well, do you?
I mean,
first
outside of biological processes, meaning.
First of all, okay? This will be a whole discussion, but like
That's what we're here for.
I know, but do you agree that you said that you agree that there is a God?
No, That's what makes me an agnostic atheist, that I have no idea if there's a God. There might be a God. I don't even know what I'm not being facetious. I don't know what you mean when you say God, because you keep going back to this and that and that. So maybe I do. Maybe I do believe in God. But I don't know what that is.
No, great. I love that. Thank you. I will define it. God is reality. God is logic. God is love. God is all powerful. God is the being that created us. God is outside of space and time. God is non-temporal. Yes.
So then that goes back to, okay, fine. If you just want to say God is all the good stuff, then you win.
I didn't say
God
all.
means
That's not
nothing.
all the good. That's not.
You don't think logic, reality, love? You don't think those are good things?
They're good things, but that's not
You're
all.
You're trying to get me to agree to a point, and then I agree to the point, and you get mad that I'm agreeing to your point. Like, fine, you won the whole debate, dude.
Define God. I'm saying God is the being that created all of existence.
But listen to me. Fine, then you win the debate. This was a stupid prompt because God, in the way that I and many other people think of it, has at least some connection to what's in the Bible, to theology, to religion, to any of these things. But if you're just going to say the highest
well, then
good,
I prompt cuck to you because none of the prompts had anything to do with the Bible.
God is a meaningless, watered down term.
No, it's not meaningless.
Exactly why we need to move beyond Christianity.
No,
it's a bunch of meaningless bullshit.
You know what? As a Christian, stop fucking talking about Christianity. Holy fucking Christ.
Who the fuck are you to tell me who I'll talk about whatever the fuck I want.
Because
you invited me to talk about Christianity and now you're crying that I'm doing it?
I didn't. Look at the prompt. The prompt is not about Christianity. You are going into Christianity.
Why is that the prompt? Why is that the prompt? What was the original prompt that you agreed to? What was the original prompt that you agreed to? Christianity.
Fucking Obsidian notes. The prompt we agreed to is, should God be? All humans should worship God. Does that talk about Jesus? Does that talk about Christianity?
Bro, don't make me share the screen now. Come on. Like, go scroll back up. The reason we changed that is that's what you said last night. I was like, oh yeah, that sounds good.
And you didn't like it.
But I think
you didn't like it, and you wanted me to. I don't want to like meta talk this, but you didn't like the debate prompt, so you asked to change it, and so we talked in DM.
And we're talking about it, and we landed on all humans should worship God.
Exactly, not a Christian
I
God.
don't know what you mean by God.
Would you like me to define it again? The being that has created everything. So then, not the reality itself.
Is it the being or is it the highest good? Is it love or is it? And again,
all of the above.
Okay, so then fine. It's a meaningless word that just means all.
How is that meaningless? How is all love and all existence and all? How is that? That's the opposite. I didn't say that.
No. I said the word is meaningless. And how is it? Because it encompasses everything.
Yeah, welcome to God, brother.
What's the difference between good and God?
God encompasses everything. Holy shit!
What's the difference between good and God?
I hope you're having a theological breakthrough right now because yeah, you're right. It does encompass everything because it's fucking God.
Okay,
that's how God works.
So you have to prove that. That is not granted. That is not granted. You have to prove that. That is your claim, and I'm saying, I don't think so. So prove it. Prove
the claim
it.
Isn't if God exists. The claim is, should we worship God? Right.
So this is what I mean. Every time you go down a road, no, I'm not talking about theology. I'm talking about the highest good. Then I drill down on that, and then you say, no. I'm talking about the highest good.
I'm not going to let you pull these cuck tactics. I'll go down any road you want me to go down.
A lot, bro. That's a weird thing.
It's a fun word to say.
Okay, whatever. But again,
I will. I'll go down any road.
The exact
road you want to go down, I'll do it.
Okay, what?
Because I don't want you to accuse me of dodging or running or whatever. I'll
is God a being or is God a collection of concepts?
Both.
So is God so again, then why are you getting mad when I'm conceding the whole debate that just all of the good things, we should worship the good things? Okay, yeah, I thought we were talking about theology, but that's not what you're talking about.
Because you're conceding it sarcastically and sardonically.
No, I'm really not.
Because if you're just you are.
If you're just saying it encompasses all of the things that anyone should like, then yeah, obviously. But that's what
do you want me to do? That's what God is. Do you want me to lie to you and tell you that God is not love? I would like you to prove. I would like you to prove that God is not all knowledge.
I would like you to prove it.
Well, okay. Well, then that's why I asked you if we should do a discussion on if God exists or not. But again, I mean, like, if you want to, we can go.
It's built into the prompt, so go ahead and prove that God is all things.
I'm willing to shift into like an atheism versus theism debate if you want.
All I'm asking you is to prove to me that God is all of the things that you're saying it is. You made that claim. I'm not even here saying you're wrong. I'm just asking you to prove it. You don't get points before you get the points. You have to make the argument first. It doesn't matter that your entire chat already believes what you believe. The fact is you haven't made the argument. Make the argument that God is what you say it is.
I think I already defined God, and
I know you defined God, but you didn't. I could define again. We'll go back to Blue Blah. Blue Blah is a big man that lives in the street. I define Blue Blah, but that's not what I'm asking you. I'm asking you to prove that Blue Blah exists. So me defining a big blue man in the back of the room does not prove that it exists. So again, if I must worship God, then what is that which I should worship?
I don't think you've addressed either of my 3 openings. That personally is better to worship God societally and theologically.
Because I don't know what you mean. I'm not being facetious, dude.
How many times do I have to repeat it?
First, you're talking about an omnipotent being, and then you're talking about love, logic, and reality. I don't know how. I don't know what that means.
That's the same thing.
How so?
That's what God is. God is love. God is logic. God is the highest that we can aim toward. God is all of those things. God is ultimate reality.
According to who?
According to like every major religion and spiritual tradition on the fucking planet. I mean, like if we want to go down a definitional rabbit hole, what else do people mean by God? Like the only people who mean something else by God is people that are theologically.
That's why God is very, 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 very bad at being a word. I promise you. When you go to church and you think to yourself, what is God? You're going to have an idea in your head. Then you go inside and sit in the pew and turn to the person to your right and say, what is God? They're going to give you a different answer. Then you turn to the person to your left and you ask them, what is God? And you are going to get a third answer. I don't know what you mean. I understand in general that maybe it has something to do with good stuff and maybe it has something to do with Yahweh in the Bible. But you need to define it.
I've defined it. Stop playing these.
Sorry, you need to prove it. Sorry, you did define it many times. You need to prove it.
Again, yes. Can I? The prompt is: should we worship God?
Just for clarification, are we trying to prove the existence of God? Or are we trying to prove that you should believe in a God of some description? I'm a little lost and a little confused. So you guys are in the weeds.
He's saying we need to worship something. I'm just trying to determine what that thing is. First, he was talking about a being and that's omnipotent, and now he was talking about.
I don't know how.
So then you're saying. Okay, it's all those things. I'm saying, okay, I didn't know that. Can you prove that that's the case?
That's
not your argument that God is all things. Okay, then
do you want to go into like the fucking cosmological and teleological and ontological argument? Like this is like that's so in the weeds though. We're talking about should you worship the God? I'm defining God as every major religion and even quasi-religious.
Yeah, and I think they're all. Yeah, I don't think any of them have proved it. Just because a bunch of people said a thing doesn't make it true.
Okay, so that's what I'm asking you. Do you want to pivot now into a conversation of does God exist? Because I asked you that before, and you said you didn't want to do that.
I don't think it's a pivot, but sure, yes. I think that's central to the prompt. Defining the words in the prompt. I don't think it's a pivot.
It's not central. It's not central to the prompt. To be clear.
So then fine. I'm a big pivoter. Let's pivot to the exact words in the prompt.
Just again for clarification, are you guys saying that in order to believe something, you need to know it? Is that what I'm lost here, guys. You guys have like gone deep down a couple of different rabbit holes. And I think I think you're making a very circular argument, and I'm not trying to reframe your argument. I'm just asking some clarifying questions.
Well, I genuinely think that I already conceded the debate. I mean, if we're just going to water down the word, if we're going to water the word God down to just those things, then okay, yeah, I thought we were talking about something that had to do with a being that has a plan, that is omnipotent.
How is the creator of all things, reality,
and also love, and also logic, and also things that are pretty, and also the funny feelings, and
you said I'm talking out of both sides.
So if God means everything, then God means nothing. If it encompasses everything, then it is a meaningless word.
No, that's just absurd. That's on its face absurd.
How so? Again, you're just making claims. You're just.
I'm not making claims. I'm not making claims. What you
that
just
is
said
absurd is a claim.
I'm not.
Okay. You are making claims, and
you
then
said I'm just. Brother, if you're gonna focus on my words, I'm focusing on fucking yours. You said I'm just making claims. I'm not just making claims. Okay, I'm making claims.
You
and I'm
keep making
explaining
claims and then not backing them up.
Again, if you want to go into the, I feel like maybe Grid was onto something with this, because like I feel like we are getting a bit lost in the sauce here, because like we could pivot into like, does God exist or not? But that will be a whole different discussion.
So
my criteria is that we.
hold on, just one
Go
second.
ahead, Grid.
So and I don't normally do this, but you guys are just like, I think partially you're talking past each other, and then I think partially you're just butting heads. So I'm not trying to reframe your arguments. I just want to try and clarify, just for my own personal sanity. So the prompt is, should all humans believe in God? And you guys clarified at the beginning that could be the God of flowers or whatever. It doesn't matter. You should believe in God. So why you guys continue to argue over the existence of God, or what God is or isn't, is I don't see where it ties into your prompt, and I'm trying to steer you back on course. The question before us is, should or should not people believe in God?
Well,
and I don't think you guys are really. I think you guys are like shotgunning around it, but I don't think you're centering on it.
I agree. I just want to. I agree fully with everything you said, Grid. I just want to clarify. The prompt is, should you worship God, not should you believe in God.
Okay, worship God. Okay, yeah. Thank you. Appreciate
but
that.
Everything else you said, absolutely, yeah. Go ahead. So,
okay.
I want to return to that. And Jesus, I guess I want you. I feel like I don't think, and maybe I'm cucked. Okay, I know you love when I say that.
Favorite word.
But like what, on my 3 points, okay, which one do you disagree with? Because in my opening I said that from a personal point of view, it is beneficial to a human to worship God. Okay, from a societal level, it is beneficial because it builds cohesion and it creates good societies.
Yeah,
from a theological perspective, it builds an ought claim. So which of those 3 points?
Cohesion. The cohesion.
Okay, so you
I
don't.
I think it's very clear that we are divided. At least if we can we just talk about America, or
that's because we don't have the same religion, though, right? That's because we don't.
I know, except you all use the same word, God, and that is why I feel like we need to drill down on that word.
No, what percent of Americans are agnostic atheists, like yourself? We don't all worship 40%? God. Do you? Well, that's my point. Do you worship God, Indian Jesus? No. Do you worship God?
Well, I don't know because if you're saying love and being,
you don't know, which doesn't build social cohesion. Worshiping God builds social cohesion. In every culture it's been practiced, even if it's maladaptive to other people, it builds social cohesion. So if that's the point you want to go on, I don't know how you're going to fucking win that one, because every culture that has a shared religiosity, a shared mythos, they build cohesion. America is a terrible example because we don't have a shared religiosity at all. Right, we have a completely divided one.
Okay, so let me talk about that then. I think that is I think you're absolutely right. And so if we're talking about the social cohesion, and then we are talking about God, most people, even if you in this particular debate aren't talking about Yahweh, the God of the Bible, that's what most people think of when you say the word God. And so if we are saying you must be with God and people don't believe in that, then we have a lot of division based on that word, that belief, that ideology. I don't believe that if we could move to something that is actually provable, then I think that would lead to more social cohesion.
Did you just say that 40% of Americans, I mean, this is me quoting you, I don't know the current stats, 48% of Americans are agnostic atheists. So those people probably don't worship God. So to use America...
Right, but Confluence, this is what I'm saying the whole time. Do you think that every agnostic atheist hates love, hates logic, hates reality? Is that what you think? No, they hate the man in the sky version. So again,
I don't think they worship... I'm not jumping back and forth.
Semantic obfuscation again. You see it right here. When it's convenient, then it's a feeling, and it's about love, and it's about logic, and it's about reality. We go that way. When it's more convenient that it's a being that can do things that's in the sky, then we go down that road.
No, Jesus. I mean, let me ask you this. I mean, this is a simple question.
Because you said it was
right?
all of it. So I don't know why.
Let me ask you a simple question, okay? Of those like 40% of agnostic atheists, again, your quote, not mine, your stat, not mine. Do you think those 40% would say they worship God if they were polled?
No.
Exactly. They would say no. So how on fucking earth are you using America as an example? America is divided precisely.
Would you like an answer to your question, or are you just ranting? Are you just ranting, or would you like an answer to your question?
Ranting.
Or are you just going to go long enough that I forget what your actual question was, so that it seems like I don't have an answer?
Talking that long, brother. Okay.
You keep doing it. You keep doing it. You keep doing it. You keep asking me a question, then I start to answer, and then you keep going. Yet again, I forgot what your question was.
If you cut me off before I'm done my fucking point, then fucking
don't answer. Don't ask me a question if you don't want me to talk.
I'm asking.
Make your point and then ask the question.
I'm sorry. A question's not like 3 seconds long. A question can be like maybe like.
I'm waiting until
15 seconds.
Guys, just.
No, you are asking questions, and then when I start to answer, you are talking over me. This is the third time you've done this, and now again, I don't remember.
Bullshit. No, that's fuck. You talked over me. You talked over. I was mid-explaining.
I'm not saying I never talked over you. I'm not claiming to be perfect here. I'm just saying in the moment, I am trying to answer the question, and then you ramp up because I'm talking over your talking while I'm trying to answer the question. So if you ask me a question, please let me answer the question.
But okay, answer. If you think you know, if you think you can prophesize the future, so answer my fucking question.
I'm just gonna go down a different route because I don't remember.
No, answer.
I don't remember, dude. You were talking too long. I don't remember.
Okay, guys. Let's try and reset here. Okay.
That's why I want you to let me answer so that I can remember.
If I may ask one question of both of you, has there ever been in the history of the world that we know of an actual atheistic society?
Nope. No. Well, a successful one, no. But yeah, there have been.
There has?
Yeah, I mean, not like on a national scale, but there's groups of.
Yeah, I mean, like a society, Incas. Maybe
not that.
I'm asking you guys because you guys are hurting my brain, and
not that I know.
I'm trying to help you reframe this or not reframe it, but I'm trying to help you move past this. You guys are butting heads, and you won't let it go, and you keep coming back to it. So I'm trying to move you forward a little bit by throwing you a little bit of a bone and saying,
we can say the Nazis were atheistic.
That's not true. That's just that's a lack of historical knowledge. Okay, I'm sorry.
So fine. Let's stick on that then. So
on the Nazis,
let's take it to the extreme. Let's take it to the extreme so that we could see where the point is, and we'll drill down on it. So you're saying social cohesion is a good thing, and the whether you want to talk about Nazis, whether you want to talk about the USSR, whether you want to talk about any kind of North Korea, there's a lot of social cohesion there. I don't know that inherently social cohesion is a good thing. I think being cohesive around the right things is very good, but I don't think social cohesion in and of itself is necessarily a moral good.
If I use the term microcosm, do you understand what I mean by that?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So on a microcosmic level, yes, I would say social cohesion is always a good thing, even if we punt to bad things like the Nazis or to the Incas or to the Mayans or the Aztecs. I think social cohesion is still a good thing on a microcosmic scale. Now, on a macroscopic level, yes, it's not good, but that ties into what I said originally about the epistemological gap that goes from like the knowability of like what people think is the best versus what is actually the best.
Okay, so maybe I'm not fully understanding. Can you dive into that? Maybe I'm not fully understanding what you're saying there.
What
when
point,
you say that you're talking about the gap between the knowability and the actuality or the existence of it. I think what you're saying is what I think you're saying is basically that just because we don't know that something is there doesn't mean it's not there.
No, not so really. If I'm understanding you correctly, I'm saying like me as a person. Okay, like I'll use me as a personal example. I try to punt into divinity to the best of my ability. But I acknowledge that there could be an epistemological gap, that maybe the all-knowing, the all-reality of God is like far beyond, is trans-rational, and I can't possibly access it, right? I know that, but I'm trying my best.
How do you know that?
Well, because what? How do I know what?
That you can't reach it.
Well, okay. Well, I feel like that's a kind of a wild question, but like I would
Just
say
respond to what you're saying, brother.
no, it's a fair question. It's a fair question. It's just it threw me off a bit because I guess to me it seems obvious that because we all disagree and everyone is trying to be rational and none of us agree on the specifics that therefore God is probably trans-rational and transcendent of my personal opinions on. I have certain predilections that's going to bias me, and I think everybody does, and so we all see God, through an unclear lens, right? Like we're all kind of like, seeing God unclearly, right? I mean, I think that's what everyone kind of would agree with, right? Like we're
Again, brother, you're using this word a lot, and we have not. I'm not being facetious.
Which word?
God. Again, I'm trying to nail down.
Of course, I'm going to use the word.
Yeah, but that's why I'm trying to nail down on it. Are you talking about a being that is omnipotent and goated and red-pilled, like you said in your opening, or which you did not say in your opening? God is all things, that is love and reality and logic. And
I actually
both,
did. If you wanna watch the VOD later, I actually did say that.
I'm definitely going to be reviewing this. And,
okay, good. Good.
So,
because I said from a personal point of view, yes, you will attain to the highest. And I said specifically that could be your highest self. That could be the best that you can attain. It might not be the actual God that exists, but I'm saying you should do your best. And I do you at least understand my personal analogy of me wanting to punt into divinity?
Yes, but my problem,
I don't know if I'm able to break that veil into what actual God is. I'm sure when I die, I'll meet God, and I'll be like, I was like wrong about so many things. Oh, maybe Trump was actually a reptilian. Oh shit. Oh, okay, Jesus, I'm so sorry. I'm sure that could happen, right? That like I admit there's like an epistemological lacking that happens.
I forgot the question again, man. You did it again. You asked me a question and then you kept talking, and now I don't remember what the hell you said.
Are you a fucking Zoomer brained?
Apparently, man. I don't know what. I'm sorry.
20 seconds.
Well, why don't you? I don't understand why you keep asking questions, and then when I go to answer, you're still talking. Just let me answer the question.
I literally didn't interrupt you. I was just talking.
You did though, but you asked a question. So you were like, "Why do you think this, that, because that is bad?" But I'm ready to answer the question. I already understand the question. You don't need to further explain the question. I understand the question, and then I start talking, and you keep explaining the question that I already understand. By the time I get to talk, I don't remember what the fucking question was.
So you don't remember what my question was?
No. What was your original question on this specific thing?
Well, fuck. Now I don't remember.
Oh, yeah.
That's because of you. That's because of you.
So when you ask a question, you stop. If I don't talk and that's a sign that maybe I need more explanation. But if you'll notice, I do my best all of the time to immediately answer yes or no questions because it pisses me the fuck off when people don't answer my questions. So, yes. No.
Sometimes, I'm sorry, brother. Sometimes a question needs context. And if you can't listen to 20 seconds of context, I don't know what to tell you. You got to stop watching Less Kinetic Sand videos, okay? Like fucking Christ. You like it's not like I'm filibustering for 3 minutes. It's like it was like you can watch the VOD. I was probably talking like 20-30 seconds.
No, I'm not saying you're droning on. But then the point is I'm getting frustrated, and now you're explaining things, and I'm trying to remember what I'm saying, and then you're saying something else, and then I'm responding to that in my mind, and now so now I'm responding to 5 different things at once because you're gish galloping. Either give me the context first, and then ask me the question.
I was gonna give you that.
I will give you that. Maybe I'm stupid.
I was going to give you that until you said gish, because that is definitionally not a gish gallop. Okay, that is not that was me asking a question explaining.
That was my bad.
But I'll agree. Okay, I'll try to be more concise. Okay, look, I love you.
I love you too, brother. Well, let's try to get this back on the rail. Yeah. So we were at social cohesion, and I was saying social cohesion is not inherently a good, not necessarily inherently a good thing. You agree or disagree?
Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. This is what I guess I would ask you. I'll try to make this concise. Okay. Microcosmically, you said you understood what I meant by that. That it is a good thing on a micro level. It is macrocosmically. It
wait, what's good on a micro level?
Well, like if you want to, like I don't want to like break TOS, but like on a German level in like 1940s. yes, they were like probably on a microcosmic level. They were probably on the same page, and that was probably good at the time for Germany. But that doesn't mean it was good objectively. It doesn't mean it was good on a macrocosmic level. But for their social cohesion, it was probably good. Same for the Inca.
Right. No. I'm not disagreeing. Right. I'm not disagreeing that it created the social cohesion. What I'm saying is, why is that necessarily a good thing?
I'm saying it's a good thing for societies to be cohesively aligned, and that can be in disalignment with a macrocosmic lens.
So yeah. So So again, you're saying the Yahtzees then are that was good that they all had the same beliefs because it helped them, but it helped them do a bad thing. So, like, that's where I'm getting confused. I think helping somebody do a bad thing is morally not good. We ought not help bad people do immoral things. Would you agree with that statement?
Well,
we ought not.
Say it again.
We ought not help people do immoral things.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. So that is what you're appealing to in the cohesion of the of Yahtzee Germany.
I'm not. Let me throw an analogy at you if you'll let me. Please. Like, okay, so let's say you have like some random tribal group, okay? Let's say they're internally cohesive, and let's say they're in the wrong and they're fighting another tribal group. It's on a microcosmic level, it's good that they're banded together to fight against the other tribe. Okay, that's a good thing. It creates social cohesion.
It's beneficial. That doesn't mean it's moral, right? Beneficial and moral are not the same thing.
I separated clearly in my prompts 3 things: personal, societal,
I'm just sticking on the cohesion. You're saying cohesion is a moral good, and I'm saying that just because it is effective doesn't mean it's a moral good.
No, that's not what I said, and that's not what I said.
Okay, then I misunderstood. Please try again.
That's just not what I said. Yeah, I said it creates social cohesion, and it does. If you have a tribe, even if they're warring against another tribe, right? They have the social cohesion because they have a shared religiosity, they have a shared belief structure, whatever, and they're on the same page. That is a net good for that society.
For them, right? That isn't a them. So wait, do you believe that morality is subjective or objective?
Objective.
Okay, so then their subjective opinion doesn't really matter. It doesn't mean if it's good for them. That has nothing to do with morality.
I think that's
because it's bad for the other tribe, right?
I don't want to say that, right? But that kind of is cocked, okay?
So you would agree that if tribe A has more social cohesion, that's better for group A and worse for group B. That doesn't have as much social cohesion, correct?
Yeah, but we're talking.
So then it's not. So then it's not a moral good.
No, but you said we're talking on a microcosmic level. You said you understood that, right?
I understand what you're saying. I disagree that
do you disagree about what the microcosmic level is? Like if a tribe,
I'm saying it doesn't apply. I'm saying it doesn't apply even on the microscopic microcosm level, it is not a moral good. It is a practical good.
None of my prompt was about the societal good being a moral good, though.
Is an ought claim. We ought to do this.
The third point was an odd claim. I tried to be so clear in my opening. The third point.
What am I doing wrong here? What am I doing wrong here? I'm doing my best, and I am so lost, dude.
Okay, I will try.
You brought up.
Let me talk. No, let me explain. The first 1 and 2, those are like more utilitarian arguments. The first one was a personal one. What's best for you? The second one is a society. What's best for your microcosm, your society? The third one is the ought claim. Okay. The third one is saying that because God exists, we should worship him because he has created us. He's created all reality. So that's what I'm talking about. So the first 1 and 2, those are more utilitarian. Okay. Just to be clear, just to like, I'm trying to like.
You're saying you gave 3 premises for a conclusion, correct?
Yes.
And so I'm attacking one of your premises. Why is that an issue?
It's not an issue. It's just you're saying the second one is a moral claim when it's not. I never made a moral claim about the second one. I never made a moral claim about the first one.
But you're saying you're saying we should worship God because, among other things, social cohesion.
Yes.
So why should we want social cohesion? That's what I'm asking.
You're adding morality to the second claim.
No, I'm not. Should is a moral claim. If you're saying you should do something, that is a moral claim. This entire thing is a moral thing.
No. That is just.
Give me an example of telling somebody that you should or should not do something that is not a moral claim.
that again, I will say this is semantic overload. You can talk about like engineering. You can say this, you should build the bridge this way. That's not a moral claim. You know, someone could tell me, I play like Mario 64 Kaizo, and someone could tell me you should do this like technique this way.
Okay,
it's
so
not
let's
a
take that
moral
example.
thing they're telling me.
Okay, so let's take that example. The engineer should, put this bolt there. That's not a moral claim. Why not?
Well, I feel like you're gonna like fuck me on like some like, oh well, the bridge might collapse. That's why I immediately went to video game analogy. So let's.
You immediately went to the bridge, the engineer. That's why I stuck on the engineer so that I
know. Okay. No, but I want to clarify. Let's go to a video game analogy, something more trivial.
Okay, so give me the video game analogy.
Someone says you're playing, Elden Ring, and you should dodge this attack by Melania by using this, dodge technique, right? That's not a moral ought, right? I think Jay Dyer made this mistake, I think against Erudite, where he said that all oughts are moral. That's philosophically retarded. All oughts are not moral. Jay Dyer, as much as like, I am predisposed to like Jay Dyer, but he was wrong there. All moral claims are not ought claims. All ought claims are not moral claims.
Okay, fair. So then would you say that the claim all humans should worship God is a moral claim?
It's both. It's both. Don't put your
It's just all of the everything. It's just all of the things. I'm trying to drill down on something, and it's just all of the things.
Brother, I don't know how I can more clearly delineate this. The first and second are not moral ought claims. The third is the moral ought claim.
Yeah, but those are premises for the main prompt. You're breaking down things from a moral claim and then talking about non-moral aspects. And then when I bring it back to the moral aspect of the claim, the main claim, the reason we're here tonight, you can't be like, well, that part wasn't about morality, so you can't talk about it.
Okay.
Can you agree that you're not addressing my questions because you don't believe that they are in line with what we're talking about?
I'm addressing all your questions.
You're not. You keep saying, well, that's this, and that's this, and well, this is that, and well, this is what you're not understanding.
Look, I want to move it forward, but tell me what question am I not addressing? I guess if you think I'm not.
Do you believe that the main prompt tonight, that all humans should worship God, that one claim, is that a moral claim or no? Yes, it is a moral claim. No, it's not a moral claim.
It's both.
How can it? Can you elaborate?
I mean, I feel like I just did with talking about like video games, right? You can have a should. You can have a should.
Give me the analogy again. So go ahead and give me the video game analogy. You didn't do that again.
Wait.
We were talking about that. We were drilling down on the engineer, and you were talking about the video game, and we didn't get there. So go ahead. Give me the video game analogy.
I feel like I already did, and maybe I'm like time warped right now. But like I felt like someone again. Oh, so I'll say it again. Like in Elden Ring, they could be like, "Oh, to beat this boss."
Definitely have not brought up Elden Ring. But go ahead.
Maybe I'm
just
crazy.
Go, dude. Just go. Come on. Just say the thing.
No, I'll do it. I'm sorry. Okay, so I'm saying, let's say you're playing Elden Ring. Someone says, "Oh, to dodge Melania's attack, you should roll backwards when she does her water foul."
I don't know anything about this game.
Okay, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
It does matter. I don't know what you're talking about, dude. I don't know what you're saying. You're trying to give me an analogy to better understand the prompt. And I don't understand. I understand the prompt, but I don't understand the analogy.
Tell me any game you play. Tell me any game.
I don't play games.
Okay,
that's why I thought the engineer thing that you brought up was a good example.
No, but
But then you didn't like it because it didn't fit.
Okay, you can
semantic obfuscation. I'm going to give you an example of something that I want to prove. I'm going to drill down on the example that you give. Actually, no, it's not a good example.
No, I feel like you're being slightly bad faith right now because you can at least imagine a video game. It doesn't matter if you know.
Hold on. No. When you're talking about the Elden Ring and this name and the Narnia, and I don't know what any of those words mean.
I'm trying to be entertaining, but imagine any generic video game. Someone tells you you should do this to win the game. Imagine you can imagine that even if you don't play games. Yes. You should do this. That's not a moral claim. It's not a moral ought. Not every ought claim is moral, and that's what Erudite said against Jay Dyer.
We already established that.
Wait, then why
not
are
all
you
art
making me
claims.
go
Fine,
back?
not all art claims are moral. But
Then why'd you make me fucking repeat the video?
Because I thought you were going to address my question. Do you believe that this is a moral claim? And you said it's both. And I asked you how it's both. And then you went back to the video game thing.
Okay, no, okay, that's fine.
How is it both?
Maybe we
It is
talk
both
past each
because
other.
it is both because
Yes, it is both because in my first example of personal, it's not an ought. In second, it's not. In third, it is. That's I don't know how more clear I can be. The third one's theological, the first one is personal, the second one is societal. So the first two are more utilitarian. And again, we haven't talked about the personal. So I don't know if you're down to go with that,
Sure.
but I think
let's try that because this shit ain't working.
okay, so I would say that the best, no matter what religion you have, the best thing you can do, if it's meditation, if it's astral projection, if it's remote viewing, if it's praying, if it's going to catechism, whatever the fuck it is, that's better than not doing that spiritual thing that you think is the highest. I think personally, the thing that you think is the highest is probably the best thing to do for yourself, not an ought claim. Again, I just want to get that out of the way. Not an ought claim.
But I don't. Okay, but I don't agree with that part. Can we nail down on that part? I don't agree with that part.
Okay, go ahead.
Because as we brought up, the crazy guy, his highest good is the dead babies, and so I know we're retreading, but I'm genuinely confused as to why
you have to go to that example to like.
Yes,
to prove
because it's
it.
a good example of you saying all people should do this thing, and then the people do the thing, and it's a bad thing. So why should that? Why does it not?
But we're talking. Okay, but I guess
if it's so stupid, then just tell me. It should be very easy. Oh, because of XYZ. Just tell me.
Okay, I'll tell you. I'll tell you. Worshiping doesn't mean that you necessarily do an action. Okay, I'm not saying worshiping means that you like necessarily do every single thing that comes to your mind.
Fair, but you're still saying that he should worship the notion of dead children.
Guys, give me just 1 second here. So, shockingly, you've been at this for an hour and a half now.
This might be 3, 4, 5 harder.
Are you not entertained though?
Are you not entertained?
No, actually, right now I'm like,
I'm trying, guys. I'm trying.
You guys are trying.
There's
a couple of things because I'd like to get you guys to have a half hour of really good back and forth and that sort of thing because you guys are basically. I don't know what this is really, but it's good. It's good. It's good. It's good entertainment for sure.
Well, that's what I said.
But so I think you guys have been talking past each other a lot, and you keep throwing in atheism, some other things, trying to pull at threads. I understand it. I understand the tactics to some degree, but it doesn't seem like, to me, you guys can disagree. Please do if you don't agree with me. It seems like Confluence, you have kind of a pretty good framework of an argument. You don't seem to think that, and tell me if I'm wrong, that IJ is directly appealing to your points or addressing your points. He feels like he is, but you guys just end up talking past each other. Some of this is that you guys, one of the things that's really important is you got to have clear definitions. You have to agree on what things mean. You guys don't agree on what things mean. And so it's hard for you. So you guys are trying to establish this on the fly while you're arguing. And come on, we've seen the train wrecks that's caused, right? I mean, in other debates.
Back on track. I think we both probably agree, but like fucking set us straight, okay? I think Jesus would agree with that.
I mean, I agree with everything you just said, and that's why I don't think
Grid,
that
fix us.
I can't fix you. I can do is just try and give you a framework with which to hopefully have a good 20 or so minutes, because now we'll be at 2 hours, which you guys blown
about this?
away that you would be that long. So let me
Would
give you guys a framework here, okay? So basically, what you're really arguing, you guys aren't arguing that all humans should believe in God. What you're really arguing is religion is good for society. That's what you guys are really arguing. You guys keep kind of dancing around it. The atheism, Nazism, all of these kinds of things, just kind of you dance around it. But what you're really saying is religion, or what Confluence is saying is religion is good for society. What it sounds like IJ is saying is religion can be good for society, but society doesn't need it to be good.
But then
I'm not sure how you guys can argue that out, because you're basically saying the same thing.
Okay, that's fair, but the one thing IJ hasn't talked about is my first prompt,
what's your first
or my first thing, which IJ, the personal, because like the society thing, I feel like we have gone over that, and maybe I think we danced in circles. I think
so. I think it. So I don't know, specifically your personal beliefs. So I think that we could have an interesting, within half hour, we can have an interesting conversation about Christianity specifically. If we bring it down to Christianity specifically instead of God, that's a more well-defined thing.
Sure.
So, I mean, I do believe that. The point that I would say is, we should. So you wouldn't get behind we should worship the Christian God?
Well, as a Christian, I absolutely would get behind that. Yeah.
Okay. So you want to just do that for the saving grace to the last 30 minutes?
Sure. Let's fucking do it.
I mean, all right. So the Old Testament God is the New Testament God, and knew it was going to happen, and still was an asshole for thousands and thousands of years. So even if he does exist, I'm not going to worship an asshole.
I don't want to like. I'm trying to think, because I don't want to like be like a heretic here. I don't know how much heresy this is, but I think. Tell me if I don't want to say the word cucked again, but tell me if this is cucked. Okay, so I think God in the scripture clearly. I mean, I went to seminary. Okay, just like for background, I did a master in theology. Okay, so. And I don't know if this is like a degenerate talking point from like the ortho Christian point of view, but I think God has clearly evolved with humans, because I think God and humans are inextricably tied together. So I think if you look at like the Torah, and I don't want to filibuster, I'll try to say this quick. Okay. So the Torah, you have like some like stuff that seems crazy. You go to the prophets, it seems like it's better. You go to like the New Testament, or go to the intertestament period, it seems better. Then you go to the New Testament, it seems even better. You see God kind of working with humanity as you go. So that's why you see like bad things in like the Torah and like the beginning of the Old Testament. So that's what I would say. And then the New Testament is obviously like way more kind of what we would like cling to, right?
I genuinely apologize if I missed this, but I didn't hear you addressing the fact that I'm saying that God is an asshole. So even if he existed, you're talking about how it's different. But if he's omnipotent, then that shouldn't matter, because
I think
maybe I missed it. I apologize.
Maybe I guess I'm saying God, to quote C.S. Lewis, God is a gentleman. Okay, so I think God.
Genocide, murder, instructions for slavery, allowing people to be paid.
That was my point. That was my point.
Maybe just quickly, I apologize. Genuinely.
That's fine. That's no shade. No, that's fine. That's fine. So I'm saying, I think God is a gentleman. God is inextricably tied to humans. Okay. And this might be a heresy, but I think God and humans are completely linked, like totally. So I think in the Torah, you have stuff with slavery and like stoning, LGBTQ people, right? Like you have like a bunch of stuff that we don't follow. Then you get to the prophet period, and it seems like there's more rights for people, and it seems more better. And you get to the intertestamental period where it seems better, right? Like in Maccabees and stuff, in like the Deuterocanon. I can't say that word right now. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
not Deuteronomy, the Deuterocanonicon, the stuff that Catholics have in their books that Protestants don't.
So again,
and then you get to the New Testament, and then it's like, oh, we shouldn't stone this one for adultery, and then we can kind of project forward. So I would see.
So, but my question,
parabolic curve of going upward with Christianity.
But God already knew. God already knew what was going to happen.
But he chooses to enter into with you. That's again.
Yeah, I think that's an asshole. If you know what's going to happen and you can make it not bad and you let it be bad, then that's bad.
No, okay. I think I'm gonna lose grid on this. I think I'm gonna lose maybe most of the audience.
Just say it, brother. Come on, spit it out.
Okay, I'll spit it out. I think God wanted them to eat the fruit. I think God wanted, because my view of like God being omniscient and stuff, I think the only explanation is God. There was some benefit. The innocence was worse than the purity that we will attain later. So yes, Adam and Eve had innocence.
Fair. So
you go forward in a parabola, and we are constantly evolving into a better form of Christianity.
Okay, so I'll give you 2 questions, and you can pick whichever one is easier for you to answer.
Okay, good. I'll pick the easier one.
That came out like I was trying to be. I just meant for the flow of the conversation. So you said God is tied to humans, and you said
yes.
God wanted them to eat the fruit.
Yes.
Can you give? I know that you think these things. Can you establish that there's any reason that I should believe them, or is it just what you think? And
I'll concede at this point. This is just me logicking it out. I think I guess my proof would be God is omniscient. He knows everying. He's all powerful.
So he knows what asshole because he let bad things happen.
No, he's not an asshole.
Even though he could have made it just perfect.
No.
Okay. Well, let's start there. Could God have just made a perfect utopia for humans?
You said
that was a question.
You're cutting me off. Okay, brother. I'm saying that the state that Adam and Eve was in was innocent, but it wasn't perfect. And I think by bringing sin into the world and having
the asking what you think, brother.
Christ, you're interrupting me again. I thought that was
talking about what you think. I'm asking about evidence, and you keep telling me about what you think and what you believe. I know what you think and you believe. I wrote it down. That's why I'm asking you how. Again, you are making claims, and you think that you're granted. You have to prove these things. I know this is what you guys believe, but this is the entire problem.
I'm giving it to you.
This is the entire problem that nobody ever has to drill down. Oh yeah, God is everything.
Then Then shut up. I love you. I love you, Indian. I don't mean no disrespect, okay? But just let me.
Evidence. I know you think.
I know
that. What is the evidence?
I know. If by evidence you mean empiricism, then I have none. Of course not. But I'm talking about logic, right? I'm talking if we assume that God is all knowing and all powerful, then he knew that Adam and Eve.
Don't assume that. You're assuming that. That's my whole point.
Let me talk. Let me fucking you got mad at me for not.
I apologize. Go ahead.
Guys. Just take a breath. Take a breath. It's okay.
I'll take a breath. Okay. I'll calm down. But I'm just saying, Indian Jesus, hear me out. Okay. I'm saying, not empirically, not scientific method. Obviously, I can't prove that. Nobody fucking can. We're talking about religion, right? Like, I'm saying, if God is omniscient, he knows everything. He's omnipotent. He can do everything. He knew Adam and Eve would eat the fruit, okay? So I'm saying that the state of innocence that Adam and Eve were in is a lesser state than the state that we would be in an eschatological sense in the future. That they were innocent, but they were not pure. And I would say Christ makes us pure. And I guess you're asking for evidence. And I guess what I would say, and I'm sorry, you're gonna say I'm talking too long, but like, try to hold on. Just like give me a sec, okay? Thank you, brother. Okay, I think that the state that we will be in the future is better, and I think that is justification for God allowing that. That doesn't make God an asshole. That means that our future state is better than our former state because purity is better than innocence. And Adam and Eve were just innocent, and then we go through the whole process of the Old Testament to Intertestament to New Testament to current day to future, and now we'll ultimately be better. I guess what
so again, I know that. Can I go now?
Yeah, go.
Okay, so I know you think those things. I wasn't confused that that's what you believe. What I'm asking is for evidence that that is the truth. No, you just gave me. I think this because of that, because of that, because of that. If you're
No, I gave.
if you're using
I
the Bible
gave
to prove the
logical.
Bible, that is
No,
that
I
is,
didn't. No, Jesus, holy fucking
what.
fucking fuck. I didn't. I appealed to the logic. I specifically said I can't empirically prove this.
Okay, that's what I'm asking for. So glad we agree.
I can't
You-
empirically, but I
Okay,
can
well, okay,
logically
great.
prove it.
So fine. So if that's the case, then you can't use that. That is your faith.
No,
as,
empiricism is not the only form of knowing. Holy, that's cucked again. That word, but that is cucked to think that empiricism is the only form of knowing. Rationality and
I don't think I
logic
said
is-
that. I don't think I said that.
Well,
Don't
then
put words
why
in
are
my
you
mouth.
saying?
I
but you-
didn't
you're
use the
saying
word
I-
empiricism. I said, how do you know? What is the evidence? And
I gave the evidence. So
Okay,
I don't know. Do I have
but-
to say it again?
so then but that brings us back to the validity of what is in the Bible. If you're using the scripture to prove what's in the scripture, that's circular.
I'm not doing that. I never fucking did that, brother. I never did that once. I'm saying if
So,
we're
okay.
accepting the Adam and Eve story about them
I'm
being
not.
corrupted,
I'm not accepting it. That's
Okay,
my
well,
whole
now
point.
we're in a- so if you want to go into a different discussion,
No, that is. I'm not
Holy
accepting it because I don't have
Jesus.
evidence. I'm asking you for evidence, and then you told me what you think, and I'm asking for evidence. You
What
said
do
if
you
we
want
assume,
evidence
you want
for?
to, you want to
You
keep
said
these points
no.
for yourself without
No.
proving them. You have to
You
give the evidence. You
conceded-
have to make the argument. You don't just get to say it because you have faith.
conceded God is an asshole because he knew that the fruit would be eaten. Okay, you said that. You said that makes him an asshole. So I'm playing onto that. So you can't punt back into like scriptural hermeneutic authority and be
Why
like,
not?
well, maybe we don't know if those stories even happened. That's a different fucking topic for a different
fine.
fucking day.
Okay, fine. So let's try this again, and I will not try. I will do my best not to zoom out, and we will assume that God exists. We'll assume that Christianity is true, and you're saying God is. You said God is tied to humans. That was your first thing.
Yes.
Can you elaborate on that and give me some way that I can be on the same page as you and believe that God is tied to humans?
Well, okay, I will. I don't want to repeat myself, but I guess I will. I would say that if you look at the Torah, right, the first 5 books, the Genesis to Deuteronomy, you see God being kind of what Christopher Hitchens called like a vengeful God, right, and Richard Dawkins and the other like new atheists, right, and then you move into like the prophets and stuff, and you see God being more amicable toward people, and it like kind of like gets better, and then you go into the intertestamental period, and it's with First and Second Maccabees, and it's not in the Protestant Bible, but again, it seems like it's better. And you get into the New Testament, and you have Jesus being like, "Don't stone that whore that committed adultery. Like we should like not do that, right?" And so we kind of there's a progression.
Gentlemen, we are now in at an hour and 40 minutes. I would like to give each of you a 10-minute closing. If you could just make your final points, and then we'll move into the closing, that would be great. That would be a 2-hour debate.
Seems like this one needs 6.
Huh?
I said it seems like this one needs 6.
I know.
It really seems like so. I'm gonna offer some suggestions before we go back. Next time, really narrow the prompt down. If you have to agree on definitions beforehand, I think the problem is that you guys talked about it last night, decided to do it today. We probably should have done this next week or even the week after to give you guys time to go back and forth and sort out, because this is first of all, it's really broad prompt, but then it's very nuanced with a lot of definitions, a lot of things you guys have to grant each other to even have the conversation. You guys are getting bogged down because you can't have the conversation without, he says something, you go, well, what do you mean by that? And he says, well, this, and you go, well, no, I don't agree with that. This is what I think it should mean. He goes, no, I don't agree with that. Now you've got to come to an agreement, and you haven't even made progress towards your main topic. You're still fighting all the side battles. So while it's been entertaining to me, I think that it would be a much better debate if you guys and I do actually want to hear you guys have a debate like this, because I think if you guys really nail it down, it's going to be epic, honestly.
This ain't the end of the con. Well,
Yeah, you guys. I think you guys
This is the
should work something
beginning.
out. Maybe in a week or two, you guys could come back to it and really hammer something out and really make a hell of a debate out of it. But in the meantime, if you can just make your final points and then go in, and we'll just roll into the closings. And so, Indian Jesus, you will go first. Confluence, you will go second. I'll give you guys I'd like it 10 minutes.
10 minutes is a long time. I'm ready to go to closing, but I'm happy to just concede.
It seemed like I didn't want to interrupt you guys. I did, but because we're just, like I said, 2 hours was 2 hours is more than enough, and I just didn't feel like you guys are going to end anytime soon.
Yeah, probably not. if Confluence, if you want to like tie some stuff down before we go to closings, that's fine. But I can do this all in the closing.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I honestly agree with you, Indian Jesus. I think we need like probably 6 hours. So like, I guess we can.
Well, you need 6 hours of prep, and then you can have a 1 hour debate.
Yeah, maybe that's true.
Okay. Well, again, if you're ready, Indian Jesus, go ahead. Like your final thoughts, your wrap up, if you felt where you felt like you made.
How long is closing? Sorry.
I mean, I would like you guys to kind of hold it to 10 minutes each.
That's a long closing.
That is a long.
Okay.
Nobody ever said that I wasn't good at talking for a long time. So
you don't have to take 10 minutes. I'm just saying it would be nice if you could hang it under that.
Okay. Ready? So I think he, as the affirmative, he failed to actually prove any of these claims. He said a lot of things that he thinks, and a lot of things that I'm sure a lot of you also agree with, but it's not enough to it's not a popularity contest. You have to come to the table with not only the claims, but the justification for those claims. And those were not met. Every time I tried to drill down on something, we would move to a different thing. Maybe I was mistaken. I don't think I was, but it was very obfuscated when we would try to drill down on a definition that we had for God. He would go down into omnipotent, omnipilled, goated, red-pilled, all that stuff. And then when it was convenient for him, he would talk about, oh, God is everything. God is love, and God is this, and God is that. And, I conceded very early in the debate that if we are just going to say God is everything, then that means God is nothing. So then, people should worship the highest good. Sure. But that is something that needs to be defined and justified. And I don't believe it was. I think my questions were not out of pocket. I don't think, I had anything that was, like out of pocket. I think all my questions were very specific to the prompt, trying to drill down on the claims that were made. And I'm not going to say I didn't get any answers, but there was multiple times where I would try to drill down on something and go, well, no, that's not what I mean. We move over here. And then when I tried to drill on that, well, no, that's not what I mean. I move over here. And then there was also, like I said, a lot of claims that were put forth that I'm sure a lot of you agree with and believe wholeheartedly. But the point here is not to just put out and say things that you think other people agree with. You have to actually justify those things. And again, I don't believe that is done. That was done. He specifically stated that he doesn't have evidence for his claim, and I think that is it. Before I can see my time, let me look at any of these other things. He talked about the microcosm versus the macrocosm, and I think that was a non sequitur. It completely applies. We were talking about the tribes, and he was saying it was good for the tribe, and we were talking about morality. So if we're talking about subjective morality, I actually believe in that, but he said he didn't. So you can't say it's good for them and also say it's morally good. And then, I do think it is extremely relevant to understand that if we are saying that we must worship God, that we can actually define and prove that God does in fact exist, because I think we could all agree that if God does not exist, that we should not be worshiping God. And I understand that you guys have different definitions of that, but I think we can all agree if there's no God, then we don't need to worship that which does not exist. and I'm definitely not in favor of degeneracy. I just think that we have the ability as a human race to move forward and get beyond the great moral structure that is Christianity and the great idea of a God being a catch-all, and narrow that down so that people actually know what we're talking about and we can actually move humanity forward. That's it.
All right,
How
Confluence.
much time was that?
Oh, about 8 minutes.
Oh,
7 or
okay.
8 minutes. Yeah.
Oh, all right. There we go.
Can I start?
Go ahead.
Okay. So I the catch-all, I specifically defined God in non-catch-all terms. I specifically defined him as
Close to your mic. Nobody can hear you.
Wait, what? I'm so close to my mic.
You when you
It's
backed
directional.
away,
Yeah.
it
Oh
made it.
shit! Can you hear me now?
Like that's the
Oh, yeah.
perfect direction. If you go to the side.
Okay, I fucking swivel too much. Okay, I'll try not to swivel.
Yeah.
Okay. Fuck! I lost my train of thought. Fucking hell.
I just want to point out, I did not interrupt. I only added. That was good.
It's my fault.
Okay.
Yeah, just take a minute. Just take a minute. You got it.
Look, so I don't know what Jesus just said. I had a good rebuttal to his last point, but like I guess I'll skip that point. But like, okay, so I feel like I had 3 points. I had the personal, societal, and theological. I don't think Jesus refuted that. He didn't even try to contest the first point, which is that people, when they're worshiping God, are just doing better, whether meditatively, whether they're remote viewing, whatever the fuck, even if we don't agree with it, they're obviously doing better than people that are not doing that, right? So I feel like the first point was just given to me automatically because of that. I'm just gonna say that. And I think the second point, societally, he fought with me on that, and that was fair. I think that, moral frameworks, I think, yeah, they differentiate between cultures, and I think obviously certain cultures are better than other cultures, but like I didn't see a good reason to side with him on that. I didn't see a good rebuttal to the point that it causes social cohesion. Again, I don't think he understood the microcosm versus macrocosm level. Maybe he thinks that he did. Maybe he did actually, but I don't see it. I didn't see it, and in his closing, I definitely don't think that I saw it. So yeah, and I guess on my third point, theologically, I don't think that was really kind of addressed at all. That we ought to worship God because God is the creator and God is the one who made us. He didn't go into my Romans thing, which is fine because like I didn't want to tie it specifically to Christianity, but I think the creator, if we are created and God is all existence and all knowing, then I think that we do owe something back to the being who is all existence and all reality. And I think Jesus says I didn't tie things down specifically. I think I did. I think I talked about omnibenevolence. I talked about logic. He can say that's everything. It's not everything. I gave specific things. I gave logic, love. I gave power. I gave all knowing. That's not everything. Literally, just definitionally, it's not everything. That's only certain things, and it's only the certain things that are good. And I feel like Jesus would say, oh, you're defining the good things as God. And yes, good is God. That is what I would say. So I guess, yeah, I feel like we have to have like a longer debate, maybe to flesh out these topics. I feel like the thing I'm most personally frustrated with is the personal thing, because I think I wish I got into that, and that's probably my fault for not pressing harder. But I feel like personally, again, every person who meditates, who does any spiritual practice, is probably more connected to the divine than someone who does not. Someone who's just living a hedonistic life, who doesn't have a purpose, who is just like going fucking, just living for tomorrow, right? Like that, and I think Jesus would probably agree. So I wish I would have pressed him on that. But like, again, we maybe should have narrowed things down, or it should have been a 6-hour debate, because like, I think we could have gone that direction, because I think Jesus would probably concede that, yeah, any personal spirituality is better than no personal spirituality. And so, yeah, so I think Jesus fought well, maybe on the second point to a degree. I think he didn't address the first point. I don't think he addressed the third point. The second point we got kind of caught in, and I guess, yeah, I guess that's the end.